You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, folks, Donald Trump is in Davos, where all the rich people are, for the annual event there. And he gave an interview on CNBC. And he was talking about Social Security, Medicaid, but then he got into how just wonderful things are in America, especially for black people.
I dare. One last question.
Go ahead.
Entitlements ever be on your plate?
At some point they will be. We have tremendous growth. We're going to have tremendous growth. This next year, it'll be toward the end of the year. The growth is going to be incredible. And at the right time, we will take a look at that. You know, that's actually the easiest of all things, if you look, because it's such a big percentage.
You're willing to do some of the things that you said you wouldn't do in the past, though, in terms of Medicare?
Well, we're going to look. We also have assets that we never had. I mean, we never had growth like this. We never had a consumer that was taking in through different means over $10,000 a family. We never had the kind of things that we have. Look, our country is the hottest in the world. We have the hottest economy in the world. We have the best unemployment numbers we've ever had. African American, Asian American, Hispanics are doing so incredibly, best they've ever done. Black, best they've ever done. African American, the numbers are incredible. The poverty numbers, the unemployment and the employment. There is a difference, actually. But the unemployment and employment numbers for African Americans are the best we've ever had. You know, we just came up with a chart, and it was a very important number to me. African American youth has the highest by far unemployment, the best unemployment numbers that they've ever had, and the best employment numbers. Right now we have almost 160 million people working in the United States, and we've never even been close to that, Joe.
All right, there's a reason I use the hashtag Trump Lies Matter, because you saw lots of lies there. You heard what he had to say about Social Security, but you know there's always a tweet or a series of tweets whenever he talks. Pull up the first one, please. This was what he said. I'm going to save Medicare and Medicaid. Carson wants to abolish and failing candidate Governor John Kasich doesn't have a clue. Weak. Really? You're going to save it? Like you said, you save HBCUs, huh? I was the first and only potential GOP candidate to state there will be no cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Huckabee copied me. Still lying. The Republicans who want to cut Social Security and Medicaid are wrong. A robust economy will make America great again. Another lie. That's what happens. But really what was bugging the hell out of me was how he was talking about how great things are for black people. Joining me now is Howard University economist, Dr. Bill Spriggs. Doc, glad to have you here. I want to show you this here. This is from this report dealing with 5 facts reveal the current crisis in black home ownership. Go to my iPad, please, Henry. Number 1, the current 30% percentage point gap between black and white home ownership is larger than it was in 1968 when housing discrimination was legal. If black home ownership rates were the same today as it was in 2000, America would have 770,000 additional black homeowners. Home ownership is lower for black college graduates than for white high school dropouts. Number 4, black borrowers are less likely to meet the traditional credit standards necessary to qualify for a mortgage. Number 5, 17% of the black-white home ownership gap can't be explained by identifiable factors. But I thought stuff was just so great for black people.
Well, they aren't. The labor market, so let's be clear about the labor market again, because he's made this claim repeatedly. If I just did a straight line for the 8 years before he became president and said, what is black unemployment going to be? It's going to be about the same as it is right now. It would be a little lower. So this is the rooster claiming I made the sun come up. It was going to happen without him. His claim is I didn't mess it up. That's his claim. Now, in terms of the share of black people who have a job, we haven't gotten that back. We have got the share of people who had a job back to 2008, but the record was in 2001. So we're not there. And his claim about black teenage unemployment is kind of misleading because black teenage labor force participation is very low anyway. It's the way that we compensate as a people because we don't have the income, we don't have the resources to help our kids, and so they withdraw in order to make up so they can study. See, the key to the whole black student debt crisis is because poor black people go to college. White poor people don't.
My God.
So
They don't have to.
Well, they don't have to because you saw the stat. If you're a white high school dropout, you're more likely to own a home than a black college graduate. If you are a white high school dropout, your unemployment rate, that if you looked at it, right, it's like 5.1, something like that. That's the black unemployment rate. That's the black unemployment rate. So if you're a white high school dropout, your chances of getting a job, that's what it is for a black person, period.
Wow.
So yes, they don't have to. We do. We got the memo. It's not like black people didn't get the memo. We got the memo. That's why we went into debt, because poor black kids go to school. 65% of black kids enter college. The maximum expected contribution from their parents is zero. Zero. Their parents don't have enough. You gave the examples that you went through. Their parents don't have enough for us to expect them to come up with anything because there's no there.
I mean, right. As I think back, my parents may have sent some money, but I'm talking about some. I ain't talking about 1,000.
How about that?
I ain't talking about 500. Maybe $50. Maybe. That's just reality.
That's reality.
And you worked while you were in school.
Oh, hell yeah, I worked.
We all did.
Absolutely worked. Absolutely worked.
But see, here's...
all 4 years.
Yes.
But here's the difference. We changed policy in 2000. This generation, the reason why it's $1 trillion and everybody's talking about it is because if you look back in history, this is unique. This 10-year period, 20-year period, it stands out. It's not any other period in American history. Why? Because our previous deal before 2000 was America invested in public higher education, so it was affordable.
Right.
So you didn't go into debt. When I was in college in the 70s, if you took a minimum wage job, any job, if you worked at McDonald's
Come on, brother.
in the summer, that was tuition for the University of California, Berkeley. If you took a McDonald's job for the summer, that was tuition at the University of California, Berkeley.
I worked at Crystal's
overnight
and paid for Tennessee State because my parents, like you said, 3 in college at the same time. So, Bill, so how do we fix it, brother? Is it a policy issue?
It is a policy issue, but that's why people are talking about forgiveness, because if I were to correct it, right? If I said, you know what? Every American up till 2000 got the deal. This generation got cheated. I want to go back to the original deal. I want to go back to, if you just go and work for 3 months at McDonald's, that's your tuition?
Right.
If I go back to that, then I'm going to have a bunch of people say, wait, time out. That wasn't my deal. My deal was you borrow $60,000.
Right. And then we talk about the cuts. It wasn't just federal cuts. You also saw state cuts.
And state cuts. It's the state cuts that were huge.
State cuts in public education. Then you had, because of state cuts, dramatic increase in tuition. And so as a result, haves and have-nots. And so the thing for me, again, I want, because Reverend Barber sent me this, because, again, when Trump is touting just how wonderful things are for black people, this is what he tweeted the other day. He said, Mr. President, this is not, Trump was tweeting about, Trump had sent out a tweet where he said, let me go ahead and plug it in so y'all can see this. Henry, let me know if you got, you should be able to see, do you see it now? Let me know. Trump tweeted about on MLK Day, it was exactly 3 years ago today, January 20th, 2017. Do y'all see it? That I was sworn into office, so appropriate that today is also MLK Jr. Day. African-American unemployment is the lowest in the history of our country, by far also best poverty, youth, and employment numbers ever great. Reverend Barber says, Mr. President, this is not true, and the prophetic tradition of MLK contradicts your lie. median income for black households is $2,000 lower in your administration than in Obama's, when black unemployment fell 9 points. You sound like the slave master who boasted that his slaves were happy.
Wow.
Well, that's about it. Remember, though, when he took office with the lowest black unemployment rate that any president inherited. So all the other presidents, and people used to pick on President Obama what the black unemployment rate was. They forgot he inherited a high black unemployment rate that was rising. This man inherited the lowest unemployment rate black people ever had for a new president.
Post-slavery.
And
100% of
this is why.
Right,
exactly. This is why I always get on people by the job guarantee.
100%.
You know, we had a job guarantee.
You had a job, right?
We decided that didn't sound so sweet.
No question.
So he already the score is 99-0. I hand over the ball to you with 30 seconds left, and you're on the 2-yard line.
Come on.
And then you want to act like, oh, I did something.
Right.
And if you look at that one at its highest point, I think unemployment rate was what? Because of the housing crisis, everything, we were losing 500,000 jobs a month. It was what, 16, 18% for African Americans. He leaves, it's slashed in half, 8 or 8.5, something like that. It's only been lowered 2.2 points or so since Trump came in. So not like he slashed it, but also what he won't talk about, the black male unemployment rate has gone up in the last several months.
Well, last month it went up.
Wow.
And he had us all frightened because there was a period earlier in the year when the black female and male unemployment rate were going up. That had to do with the Fed getting it wrong on the interest rates. Fortunately, they changed course. But he's not had a smooth decline. It's not been every month, we're doing better.
And so the reason I wanted to break this down and not just, because the deal is, and I saw Robert Smith on Squawk Box, and he put this on his Instagram page where he was asked that question, and he said, first of all, guys, he said, you can't just look at the unemployment rate. He said, because the question is, are you making money to be able to build wealth? Yeah. Or are you making money just to be able to survive? And he said, you got to deal with that. And then he brought up also the whole issue in terms of home ownership. And so when you start talking about, so when all these people like Candace Owens and these crazy ass people who Christian Lamar and the rest of these fools, all how great things are for African Americans. And I love how they talk about that fool Charlie Kirk. He'll tweet, oh, the black business startups up 400%. Yes, there are 2.6 million black-owned businesses in America. 2.5 million have one employee. When there were 1.9 million black-owned businesses under Obama, 1.8 million had one employee. Oh, but when there were 1.9 million black-owned businesses, they had an average annual revenue of $110,000. Today, we have 700,000 more black-owned businesses. Average revenue is $54,000. So you can't get excited saying, oh, 700,000 new black-owned businesses doing half the revenue of the previous number, and you're still stuck with largely one employee.
It's called the hustle. And
make it plain.
And so that gets counted as employed. So when I do my hustle, so I'm a business, and as you just said, I'm the only employee. If there are no jobs for me as a tailor, and I decide my hustle is going to be I'm going to open up a tailor shop, there are no jobs for you as a tailor. Right?
Oh, wow.
But I'm going to start a tailor shop.
Right.
Like, wait, time out.
Right.
Like, this can't be in demand.
Right.
So this is the crisis. But as you point out, and you asked me about his getting cornered on Medicare and on Social Security, he had promised everybody, and you talked about $1 trillion debt and people forgiving the $1 trillion debt. He increased the deficit with his tax cut by over $1.5 trillion.
Yes, sir.
Giving it to the richest corporations, the richest people on the planet, and we were told as American workers, oh, look, the reason y'all can't get a wage increase is because your bosses who have record profits still can't afford to pay you because they're paying so much in taxes.
Right.
So we're going to give them a permanent tax cut, and with that tax cut, y'all going to get a wage increase.
And before it even passed, 2/3 of the CEOs said, No, we not. We doing shareholder buyback.
And that's exactly what they did. And real wages last year, flat.
Yep.
Flat. No one got any more anywhere. Real wages stayed flat.
There you go.
So we didn't see it. Now, because of that deficit, he has a reckoning. He has to figure out what is he going to do about the deficit, which he promised us was going to shrink. So he's going after the old Republican target. Because their target has always been Medicare and Social Security.
Right.
Now, those should never have been targets. If you hadn't spent $1.5 trillion giving it to the richest people on the planet, we wouldn't have this discussion.
But that's also the setup that also when you see a Senator Amy Klobuchar fall for the trap in the last debate where she talked about, oh, we got to do something about, Social Security and Medicaid and the debt. Right. Republicans are like, we don't really give a damn what y'all think. So they talked all this stuff, debt. When Obama was there, Trump comes in, jacked up the debt. Oh, I don't hear jack from Congressman Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan and the Freedom Caucus about debt. Nothing. Because their whole deal is they're thinking, you know what? It's a good bet Trump's going to lose. Y'all Democrats, y'all got to deal with the debt. And all of a sudden, it's going to become a big issue. This is why, again, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again today. Democrats win in November. Whoever is the president and the Democrats take back the Senate, they should give the finger to every Republican who opens their mouth.
Absolutely.
If they say anything about the debt,
That's right.
about judges,
That's right.
or anything else. Like, y'all done said damn thing for 4 years. You get the hand, go to hell. I don't want to hear nothing. I wouldn't let them talk in a hearing or nothing because they said nothing. And what Trump is doing, and the problem is there are some clueless, ignorant black people out there. The people walking around with these red MAGA hats falling for it. I got these fools in my Twitter timeline about, how great and wonderful their life is. The reality is this here. If you have a business where you do have multiple employees, and I can say that, I was like, oh my God, tax cut was great for us. But the bottom line is this here, is it helping a wide variety of people?
Right.
The Trump economy is not a boon to black people. No. It simply isn't.
It isn't a boon to business. The reason All business.
Break it down.
The reason the numbers of employment were slowing is because new firm formation was falling. New business creation was falling. Why does it fall? It falls because how do I get a business, grow a business? I need customers. I need more customers. And then I need more customers. So if 187 million American households are getting a raise, that's 187 million people who didn't have the money before, who suddenly wake up and say, I have more money. What should I do with it? Yeah. And that's when you as a business person say, I got an idea of what you can do with it.
Right.
But if you wake up and it's 1%, not 187 million households, it's 1 million households who wake up and say, I got more money. That's a different world. First off, the 1 million that we're talking about are Ivana Trump. So it's not.
They're not coming to your tailor shop
at all.
Exactly.
They're going to the sweatshop in China.
Right.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
And so this doesn't help me if I'm trying to start a business.
Yeah.
And so how do I start or how do I grow my business if I can't get new customers? If new people aren't coming around, that means I have to take your customers.
My God.
And in order for me to take your customer, I got to cut my prices to beat your price. So now how do I do that? One, I can discount, and we have seen thousands of retailers close because I can discount once, I might discount twice. If I discount 5 times, I'm out of business. Right. And these retailers are closing because there's a limit to being able to do that.
Well, look, we're at the lowest number in a very long time of black McDonald's operators. What did I hear from the past decade from many of those brothers and sisters? They kept saying when McDonald's corporate would issue this edict in terms of the dollar menus, they were like, yo, we can't make money. And me, the store owner, said, we're responsible for also having to refurbish our stores.
Right.
And so they're saying, and then very few black McDonald's operators owned 50 or 100 different stores. Yeah, white McDonald's operators who did. And so you get this whole issue that they're saying, look, you're forcing us to have this dollar menu. Do understand, if it goes from $1.69 to $1, that's 69 cents times 1,000 customers. That money's coming out of my pocket. And so when you talk about price cuts, and I've been saying this for decades. I love it when people talk about, you know, Walmart's slogan is low, low prices. And people run around and tell me, oh, Walmart should be paying their workers more. This is unfair. But guess what? If you as a consumer keep demanding, I want low, low prices and I want it cheaper, the money is going to come from somewhere. Yeah. And so, why did Levi's stop making jeans in San Francisco and went overseas? Because American buyers didn't want to pay $45 for a pair of jeans.
Come on.
They wanted to pay $19.99.
Come on.
And guess what? A company, if you want to pay $19.99, I'm going to go to a place where I'm paying somebody 35 cents or $1 a day to make it.
Yeah, but see, all of that is driven because if for a long time you freeze the customer base, you force the companies to that. And it isn't so much that Americans don't want American-made jeans. If I don't keep getting a raise, how do I pay for my stuff?
Precisely.
Right. And so here's the thing, when we were doing the minimum wage bill in the House, which the House passed.
Yes.
The House has passed the $15 minimum wage for the whole country. We have business owners who said, look, I got 8 workers. I have 40,000 customers. Do I want my 40,000 customers to have more money? 40,000 customers to have more money. Or do I worry about these 8 people I got to pay more money to?
Right.
I want my customers to have more money because that's more money for me to get.
But they kept making the argument that, oh no, I got to pay more to my 8 employees, and never brought the customers up, Greg.
No, I was just going to ask Bill. I mean, because, you know, one of the very important roles you play with the AFL-CIO is helping us understand how this translates into policy changes. How do we attack this from a policy level, man? Because this thing is going, this extreme inequality is going to tear this country apart.
It will tear the country apart because it's going to freeze the economy.
Yes.
It slows the growth. That's why, look, you got unemployment at 3%. How come you don't see automobile manufacturing through the roof? How come home sales aren't through the roof? At 3% unemployment, this should be child's play to sell a car. Right. Everybody has a job. Why don't they just flood around saying, I want a car? They can't afford it.
Bruh, do you realize do you know, I cannot even explain to you in the past year how many text messages I get, and they not only that, they text my sister, they text my mama, they call her daddy, trying to buy my house.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
No question.
Really crazy. And I'm like, no, I ain't selling. Take me off your damn list.
Right.
And I was sitting and I'm going, like, it really started about a year ago. And I'm going, what? Like, how in the hell all of a sudden? I mean, I'm talking about like, it was like every day. I'm like, first, behind the hell y'all got my phone number? But what's happening is housing starts. You do not have enough housing stock. Yeah. And so what these investor groups are doing
they're buying whatever they can
is
get.
they're buying, knowing full well that if you want to sit here and buy my house for $190,000, $200,000, you're going to turn that bad boy around and sell that sucker for $230,000, $240,000, $250,000. So they're trying to accumulate a housing stock. Right. I mean, I get text messages and calls every single day, and I'm going, what is causing this? And that's what's happening.
But the extreme inequality is what I'm saying. I mean, when we heard Eric, when you talking about homelessness, I mean, but the people are still having babies, and people got to live somewhere. That's why I ask, in terms of a policy fix, is this about reinstating the tax cuts that were given? Is this about redistributing the federal tax revenue?
You cannot exacerbate the inequality. So
right, that's what I'm hearing.
So those tax cuts have to be repealed.
Okay.
Right.
So people forget markets are markets. If you're going to drive everything by a market, nothing in the market equation guarantees that everybody can afford it. In fact, precisely the opposite, right? The market clears for diamonds, everybody can't afford a diamond.
Right.
A house is no different. A house is no different. Just because it's a market doesn't mean when the market price comes in, everybody can afford it any more than everybody can afford a diamond.
So you need government. That guy yelling at Elizabeth Warren doesn't understand. The state has to play a role.
It has to play a role, but before we were deluded because we were a middle-income country in the sense that 60% of the income was in the middle 3 quintiles. So what does that mean? That means that the bulk of the money to buy a house, it's in the middle. So if I'm building a house, I build for
houses
the money
for the middle.
For the middle.
Not $400,000 and $500,000 and $600,000
Exactly.
houses.
Wait,
Exactly.
Condos.
Right. Oh, right.
Condos, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 condos, not even full houses.
Yeah. So now,
Wow.
now over half the income is in the top 10%.
My God.
That means that's where the money is, and they are the market.
And, the top 10% ain't buying houses because they already bought it.
Exactly. And the only home they want, right, is the home that me and the top 10% want.
Right.
And if I'm building homes, that's who I'm building it for.
And then what happened because of the home foreclosure crisis when the federal government bailed out those banks, the banks, remember, toxic assets. Then they went, oh, hell, we can do whatever we want with the money. Shore up our bottom line. We gonna hold on to these homes, and then what did they do? They sold lots of 25 and 30,000 homes to hedge funds and private equity, and those folks ain't selling the homes. They're making folks become renters. So people are actually paying more to rent those homes than what they will be paying to actually pay a mortgage, and they sitting here making off like a fat rat because you ain't got a choice because you can't buy a home elsewhere because you can't afford that expensive house. And so we bailed their trifling asses out. They turned around, did nothing with those assets, and now are making money off people being renters. And so what is happening is, that's why you got this weird thing happening now where folks they're complaining about the Ubers of the world, but people are saying, I can't afford to buy a car. Okay, I can't afford to park anywhere. I can't afford to park in downtown because it's too much. And so we are essentially a country that if you are not 100,000 or more, you are absolutely screwed. And to your point, you have to look at just the pure numbers. If that represents only 10, 15% of the population, what you gonna do with the other 80, 85?
This is the question. This is the question.
And 90. And Trump and his tax policies don't give a damn about those people. And that's why all these red states run people running around. I'm like, y'all, 10% of Wisconsin dairy farmers have declared bankruptcy. I'm like, so your life is better under Trump than it was Obama? We handed out $30 billion in welfare to farmers. And Trump says he might do another $50 billion because he's basically buying their votes.
Well, this is the problem.
Last point, go ahead.
Well, it's the problem when you collapse the middle income. So, yeah, it's hard to be a dairy farmer because those are the people who buy the milk. And you've already squeezed them. So, yeah, they're going to have problems. You cannot have this level of inequality, and you can't sustain it.
Right.
This debt.
And also, real quick, you talk about the milk thing. And I know somebody may be thinking, well, it makes no sense. The cereal companies are now in trouble.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Because you can't afford milk. Ain't nobody eating no damn cornflakes and water.
Well, Michael Irvin and them used to do it in South Florida.
But it's one of those things that people don't understand.
Don't understand it.
If you can't afford milk and you stop buying milk, you're not going to buy cereal.
No.
And those cereal companies are complaining about, guess what? They're losing dollars because folks ain't buying cereal.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
My
And so we can't, as a country, do it. This student debt is key to understanding the whole inequality thing. Because when you say the colleges are going to be driven by tuition, that means who has money.
That's right.
So I'm going to run my university for the people who have money.
There you go.
And what will the tuition be? What the people who have money
There you
can
go.
afford. So there's no surprise that at the University of Michigan, More students are from the top 1%. This is a huge university, the University of Michigan.
Right.
More students from the top 1% than the bottom 40%.
Jesus.
There's a reason for that.
And that, if it continues, further exacerbates income inequality.
Exactly.
Because you're not giving folks in the middle and lower classes an opportunity to be able to get those degrees, to be able to put themselves in a different tax bracket in the next generation.
And you already played the debt trick. You can't get people to do $1 trillion in debt again. You can't. It's not possible.
Right. Nope.
It's not possible.
Right.
Dr. Bill Spriggs, we appreciate it. Thanks for breaking it down for us. This is why we have this show, because trust me, you're not going to hear this conversation on CNBC or Bloomberg or Fox Business, because that's just the real deal there. We appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, folks, the Congressional Black Caucus, they are calling for a national emergency meeting of black leadership. It is called the Future of Black America, a call to action. It's a two-day conference taking place February 3rd and February 4th. Now, February 3rd will be taking place at the Hyatt Regency Washington Capitol Hill. On February 4th, it will be taking place in the auditorium in the Visitor Center on Capitol Hill. Their goal, of course, is to have a variety of plenary sessions and workshops covering key issues impacting African Americans. Those will include discussing issues, strategies, and the work needed in various communities dealing with the census, but also the 2020 election. And for more information on this, you can go to cbc.house.gov/2020 summit, cbc.house.gov/2020 summit. I'm going to be moderating one of the sessions on February 3rd. Also, Roland Martin Unfiltered is going to be live streaming both days, February 3rd and February 4th. That's one of the reasons why we created this platform. So we certainly thank Chairwoman Karen Bass for reaching out to us to assist in this. And so it is a two-day national emergency meeting, call to action for national African American leadership. That summit taking place February 3rd and February 4th. So please, folks, for more information, go to cbc.house.gov/2020 summit.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.